What?
What?
I'm
mad.
What?
I don't want to go to work. I don't want to work at all tomorrow.
Okay.
I hate Mondays.
Then quit.
What?
Quit. If you're not happy, quit.
What do you mean quit?
We don't necessarily need the other income. I've got us, right? So if you're unhappy, just quit. There's no need for you to be unhappy. So just quit.
But then what?
I got us. We're fine.
But then what do I do?
Whatever you want.
Yeah, we do have a crazy guy to take care of.
Yeah, Chunky. If you just want to...
Stay-at-home dog mom?
You want to stay-at-home dog mom? Card's already on your... You already got my card. So...
Yeah.
Did you hear that giggle that comes after he says, "You already have my credit card"? I just want to play that bit again.
Card's already on your... You already got my card. So...
Yeah.
She's so happy, but that is not an expression of affection, but ownership, like his money is her love language. And she's not laughing from surprise, but from satisfaction. It's chilling. She is thrilled. He works and she stays home. He finances the dream and she gets to live it. Hardly an equal arrangement, is it? And feminism is meant to be about equality.
That is bullshit.
I wonder if the women of the internet will notice how unequal this new arrangement is going to be. I wonder if they're going to object.
Absolutely fucking not.
Stay-at-home dog mum, my dream, LOL. The way I would quit the next morning. May this love kidnap me. Over 400,000 upvotes on that last comment. Doesn't seem like the inequality of this arrangement is bothering any of these feminist women.
Bitch, please.
Him leaving the house every day to go to work to earn the money so that she can stay home and spend it? To women, that is not controversial. That is aspirational.
Of course!
This is what modern women are taught to want, a man who gives everything but expects nothing, and they call that love. But that is not love, that is not romance, that is not partnership, it is exploitation. It is not equality, it is economic servitude.
Ooh, that's a bingo.
And yet, to modern women, it's not abuse, it's the dream.
So make a note that Alexander Grace just said that for modern women, what is actually abuse is a dream. So modern women dream of something that is abusive to men. This is important because, yet again, Alexander Grace has made a fantastic video that nails all the talking points that lead to MGTOW. But as always, he is going to ignore them and recommend and suggest that men continue to follow their gynocentric programming and seek long-term relationships with women, which I find so disingenuous given that he keeps proving what MGTOW guys know, which is all women are like that. All women exhibit female nature. All adult human females operate on human female nature. All women are like that. It's just a spectrum of how much it is expressed, how much it is hidden, how much it is suppressed, and how extreme it can be. Those are all ways that female nature can be expressed, but all women are like that. In other words, all women operate on female nature. And once you understand female nature, the only sensible, smart and sane option for a man living in the modern world, if we leave passport bros to one side because that has its own problems, the only sensible, smart, sane option is MGTOW. And despite the fact that Alexander Grace makes videos where he lays out the case for MGTOW as well as I could myself, he somehow fails to say at the end of his videos, guys, in a rigged game, the only winning move is not to play it. And I've got some theories around that, but I'm going to do a Columbo. I'm going to make a case. I'm going to build a case against him with this video. So the first piece of evidence is that he said himself that what is abusive to men is the dream for modern women. Not some modern women, not low quality women. He said modern women in general. He's absolutely right. But remember, there was no qualifier in that. So he himself acknowledges that what is abusive to men is the dream for women. Okay, let's remember that. Moving on.
And here's what is so fascinating is that they don't even know that this is exploitative because the culture has told them that it's normal. 500,000 upvotes. They can't all be abusive. And the woman from the opening video, she doesn't seem like a psychopath. She seems like a normal girl. Yeah, but that's actually the problem. See this chart? There are 2 different types of women who are going to ruin your life. What's dangerous is that only one of them actually looks like a villain. The monster and the parasite.
As part of me Columboing Alexander Grace, I need to point out his subterfuge. So he's presenting the frame, and it's all about frames. He's presenting the frame that there are 3 types of women. The good women, he's already talked about them, but I've cut that bit out because I'm going to come to it at the end. But the good women, the parasites, and the monsters. That's his frame. That is the mainstream frame. Bad women, normal women, good women, basically. But the truth is there's only one type of woman, again. All women operate on female nature, and female nature is inherently parasitic. Or if I'm being accurate, it's symbiotic, but the influence of 60 years of feminism and female supremacy has turned it wholly parasitic. The parasitic element has always been there. Any woman that could get away with getting what she needs from a man without giving him anything would do that. That's natural. Human beings are naturally lazy and selfish, path of least resistance. So the parasite has always been there, but because men ran the world, they didn't allow women to take without giving. And so it was a symbiotic relationship. You cook, clean, look after the house, give me children, look after the children, and I will do all the work and the labor to make sure that you're fed, clothed, housed, looked after and protected. That's symbiotic. Feminism has made it parasitic. The truth is, in evolutionary terms, and even in the modern day, women cannot survive without men. If all the men disappeared, there'd be no running water, electricity, sanitation. The world will fall apart. Yeah, we know that. As happens in war zones. Without men, women cannot survive. It's as simple as that, and that's always been the case. And so women are dependent on men. Their evolutionary survival strategy and mating strategy depended on a woman's ability to deceive and manipulate a man into giving her the resources to survive and into providing for and protecting her and her children, both when she was pregnant and when the children in particular were young. So a woman needs a man to survive. A way to think about it is fleas need dogs, but dogs don't need fleas. And so women are inherently symbiotic when things are healthy. When things are healthy, women get what they need from men and give back to men in return. That's how it's been up until feminism. Men and women worked in a symbiotic relationship where women were dependent on men for resources, provision, survival, protection, etc. And in return, they gave men a homemaker, a good mother to the man's children, sex, and peace, and respect and appreciation. So the man got what he needed, the woman got what she needed. To a degree, thank you very much, God, for 2 million years since we've been Homo erectus, standing upright. 60 years of feminism has undone that. And women now are empowered and pedestalized and feel entitled to what they depend on men for, and therefore they don't have to give anything back. So in the modern world, all women are parasites. What the monsters are just parasites that are so wounded and traumatized in childhood that they don't have any emotional regulation, and so they cannot hide their parasitic nature, and they are basically mentally ill, personality disorders, cluster B, and so they just can't hide it. They can't hide the fact that they are basically sociopathic. They lack empathy for men at all and are completely selfish. That's what the monster is. It's just a parasite that cannot hide its nature. What he calls the good women, the good, loving, kind, sweet, lovely women, are just parasites that can hide their parasitic nature. They are mentally very acutely aware and emotionally more mature than most. And so they know that they are dependent on men, but they also know that you catch more flies with honey than vinegar. So what the mainstream calls a good woman is just a smart woman who's mentally healthy and more emotionally mature than most women. So she keeps her parasitic nature hidden, and she would be like one of the women in Esther Vilar's book, The Manipulated Man. Esther Vilar was a lesbian who revealed to the world that basically women are in charge, and kind of always have been, because women have evolved to deceive and manipulate men into doing all the hard work, all the dangerous work, all the labor in return for sex. And so that women have always run the households. I bet you in your household, your mum ran the household. Because the type of man that can't be controlled, the true alpha, Beauty and the Beast, the untamable man, doesn't get fucking married.
You make very good coffee.
A man on his own has to take care of himself.
So you're not married?
Nope.
Ever been?
Nope.
Want to be?
Nope.
Don't you want a woman of your own?
What for?
Share your name, bear your children, be a companion.
To ask me to quit drinking, quit gambling, save my money, and to bitch about her aches and pains all day? No, thanks.
Must be a lonely life.
It's a great life. Women when I want them, and none with the name of hoping.
The type of man that can't be controlled doesn't get married. Why would a man that has options and he loves himself and is masculine and free, why would he get married? Did Genghis Khan get married? Did Alexander the Great get married? Maybe he was gay, but a man with power and high status just has whatever woman he wants because they all want him. They'll all give it up to him. Why would he get married? Only betas get married. And betas get married because a woman deceived and manipulated him into giving up all of his options to only have sex with her and give her all his labor and resources. And then once he was married, with the divorce laws in the West, she withdraws the sex. So he is now an indentured servant to a woman that doesn't respect him because he's a beta, because he was dumb enough to pedestalize her.
What the actual fuck were you thinking?
And she goes off and has sex with the man that she couldn't tame. That's what hypergamy is. Alpha fucks, beta bucks. That's how it actually works. The only men that get married are men that pedestalize women. Betas, cucks. They are the manipulated men. That's the vast majority of men are manipulated by the parasite that is the woman. And the type of woman that looks like a good woman is the type of woman that's good at getting a sucker to marry her. But then once she's married, she reveals, oh yeah, she's been a parasite all along. And now you're fucked. Because if you get divorced, you're going to lose half your shit. If you complain about not having sex, she's going to divorce you. She's going to poison her children against you. And that's the way it really works. And Alexander Grace and others like him, they can't say that. Hardly anyone will say what I'm saying to you. That is the actual truth. Women run relationships, and most men are betas.
He's out of line, but he's right.
Most men are weak. Most men are boys, in fact. Most men project their mother wound, the lack of unconditional love they got from their mother, onto women, and see women through the rose-coloured glasses they saw their mothers through. And that way, women can manipulate men like that. Women know how to manipulate men who think that women are like their mothers. Loving, kind, caring, blah, 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 blah. True alphas, and I don't mean the kind of alphas that, you know, Fresh and Fit and all these, Wes Watson and all these guys that go online and say, I'm an alpha. If you have to say you're an alpha, you're not a fucking alpha. Except maybe Dr. BOA.
Beta male sentiment agenda.
He would be the one exception, an actual alpha who calls himself an alpha. But 99% of the guys that call themselves alphas are the biggest simps going, because their whole life is built around women. Their whole life is built around chasing women, getting the hottest woman. PUAs, guys who teach game and do cold approach, they're the biggest simps. A simp is a man that sees his value as being based on having a woman, getting a woman, sleeping with women. So a simp and a beta is a man whose whole sense of identity is built around women. An alpha, an actual man, doesn't give a shit about what women like, what women approve of, what gets women into bed, blah, 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 blah. That's all for simps and betas.
It's a sign of being a beta male.
I hope I'm turning upside down everything you've ever thought. Because as I proved in this video, masculinity and manhood have nothing to do with women. It's only your gynocentric programming and your mother wound that causes you to believe that your value and identity as a man has to do with being able to get and keep a woman and how hot she is. That is absolute bullshit. It is absolutely false and not true, and that's proven by our evolutionary past and what men understood masculinity to be prior to 100 years of feminism. True alphas, real men, don't get married and don't give a shit about women. Their whole lives are focused on being great. You know, like Isaac Newton or Nikola Tesla or the Wright brothers or Schopenhauer or Beethoven or any number of lifetime bachelors I could name that didn't give a shit about women. All this obsession in game and PUA and the manosphere, the alpha bro manosphere, they're all betas. Beta! They're all obsessed with women. Beta male! They're all projecting their mother wound onto women. And I'm the first person to say this to you. So please, like, subscribe, share, comment. Help me out against the AI slop in the manosphere and against all the manosphere channels like Alexander Grace that are actually trying to get men to continue being fed into the gynocentric meat grinder of using men's lives to support women's lives, which is what he's doing. But more on that later. Moving on.
Okay, back to the two types of women that will ruin your life. Let's start with the monster. She is the obvious threat, the one with the toxic personality. She's narcissistic, she's a sociopath, she's got borderline. She lies, she manipulates, she tears you down. Many older guys who watch my channel, they know this woman. They married her, they divorced her, they're still healing from her. And she sucks. No one likes this type of woman. But the one upside is that she's often so unhinged that she can't hide it for long. Even though she put on an act to suck sucker you into a relationship, at some point she explodes. She shows her true colors, and at that point it's clear what you're dealing with. And in many ways that actually makes her less dangerous because she's easier to spot.
Feminists believe that men and women are equal. They want equality, right? That is not what I want. I think women are better than men, and I'm not asking for equality. I'm honestly hoping for revenge.
Monster women are often loud, obnoxious, openly hateful. It's awful, but it does give you fair warning. But I would say you need to be more vigilant about spotting the second threat, the normal woman with toxic beliefs, the parasite. She has no trauma, no diagnosis, but in many ways, this woman is actually the more dangerous one. Understand, she does not have to hate you in order to exploit you. She just has to believe what the culture has told her. Men exist to serve women. Masculinity is a problem. Male suffering does not matter. This creates a bizarre situation like we saw in the comments to the opening video. Women fantasizing about a love where a man does everything, sacrifices everything and gets nothing in return. She dreams of a future of you working, you paying, you serving, while she just lounges in love. And do you see why this is so dangerous? Because to her, it's not abuse, it's romance. I mean, she's wrong. One person earns and the other person spends. That is financial exploitation, black and white. But these women, they don't see it like that because the culture has told them that this is what's normal, that this is what they should expect. I'm entitled to stay at home and be a dog mum. And I'm legitimately angry that no man has come along and done this for me yet. I'm the victim because I don't have that. But don't you see, that's what makes her dangerous, because she's not trying to hurt you.
No, the parasite isn't trying to hurt you. It's just trying to exploit you and feed off you. It's a bit silly to look at it that way. She's not trying to hurt you. Again, a tapeworm isn't trying to hurt you. It wants you to be fit and healthy so that you can pump enough nutrients around that it can feed off. A flea isn't trying to hurt a dog. It wants the dog fit and healthy so that it can pump around lots of blood and nutrients that it can feed off. And it's the same with your girlfriend or wife. She's not trying to hurt you. She wants you fit and healthy, going out to work, making money that she can feed off of and parasite off of. Let's be really clear about this.
So I've got a question for the men. Tell me why you're done. Tell me why you don't want to have a partner in life. Tell me why it's more worth it to be single than to have a partner.
Okay.
You ready?
I forgot my wallet. You might have to use your card.
Oh, no, baby. We're going to have to turn back around and go back to the house.
For what?
I only wanted to come because I thought we was using your money.
I immediately don't like you.
Shade, no.
I'm not laughing. I'm like dead serious. Yes, I know I got my own money, but it's better when I don't spend my own money and I spend your money. So we're going to have to make a U-turn, go back to the house and get your wallet, and then we can go.
No, I work hard for my money. Just like you work hard for your money to spend it, so spend your own money.
Yeah, okay, but your money is our money. Listen, I'm finna explain it to you.
I really don't like you. Seriously.
Your money is my money. My money is not your money, okay? That's how it works in this relationship. We have a very good relationship. It works for us.
That is bullshit.
So we're going to have to turn back around, go back to the house, get your wallet. I'm not spending my own money in Target. I was only coming because I thought you was paying for everything.
And that's why men are staying single. Modern women are parasites. But what you ladies forget is that fleas need dogs, but dogs don't need fleas.
She just thinks that she's entitled to everything. She doesn't think of herself as a bad person. She just never stopped to think about what this arrangement would be like for you. And why would she? No one has ever asked her to.
So I'm Columboing this. He just said that a woman never stops to think about what this kind of servile relationship where it's all about her, it's all about what she gets and she gives nothing back. He just said that a woman never stops to think what that would be like for the man. That's true because women lack empathy for men, because women are solipsistically self-absorbed and selfish and think the world revolves around them. So it's true that a woman never stops to think about a man. But the reason he gave for that was that why would she? No one's ever told her to. And what that does is it lets women off the hook for what female nature is. And that's what I realize what he's doing all the time. He knows what female nature is, but he keeps letting women off the hook for it so that he doesn't have to conclude MGTOW is the only winning move. Let me break it down to you very, very simply. There is a golden rule that if you follow it, you are what is called a good person, a decent person, and a moral person. And that golden rule is, do unto others as you would have it done unto you. Anyone who treats other people like they like to be treated is a moral being. They're a good being, a decent person. Anyone who treats other people in a way they would hate to be treated is not a moral being. They are not a good person. They're not necessarily immoral. They're not necessarily evil. They're more likely amoral. They just have no morals. They're just a chaotic agent that thinks about only themselves. They're completely selfish. And that's what female nature is. Female nature, because of its solipsism and its emotional reasoning and its natural born victimhood, women, as he's pointing out in this video, treat men in a way they would hate to be treated. That's why if women didn't have double standards, they wouldn't have any standards at all. Everything with women is a double standard. Everything is a hypocrisy because women feel justified and entitled in treating men in ways they would hate to be treated. So women are literally always breaking the golden rule, which is why I point out they are not moral beings. And that is the reason MGTOW is the only winning move, because you can't build a relationship based on trust with a non-moral being.
Fatality.
With a non-moral being that is happy to treat you in a way they would not be happy for you to treat them. It's as simple as that. And he just excused it. And basically everyone in our culture excuses it, except for Red Pill and MGTOW. And that's why they hate Red Pill and MGTOW, because we're the only ones that point out women aren't moral beings. They're not good people. They're not kind. They're not caring. They're not empathetic. They're none of the things women are portrayed to be. Women are transactional, sociopathic, completely selfish, self-centered, self-absorbed, entitled. They are all the things you might describe a 4-year-old spoilt brat as, because that is, in effect, what they are. It's just that simple, yeah? If you want to understand female nature, just recognize that the golden rule is all the criteria you need to do your Columboing. It's all the criteria I need. If you treat your man, if you treat your woman like you don't want to be treated, you're not a moral being. And if you treat your man like you don't want to be treated, you're not a moral being. It's so simple. If you want somebody to serve you, but you're not prepared to serve them, you're not a good person. And that is the woman's dream, to be taken care of, treated like a princess, sprinkle, sprinkle. No 50-50. You're a broke this, you're not give me the princess treatment, blah, blah, blah. Everything women say is breaking the golden rule. It's a double standard. They want from men what they're not prepared to give men. That's all you need to know to realise MGTOW's the only way. MGTOW and being a Chad or a bad boy and just, fool 'em, fuck 'em, forget 'em. That's what obviously the guys who are good with women and get loads of women, that's what they're doing. They don't settle down. They don't get into long-term relationships. They just fuck women because they know that women don't care about them. They know that women aren't kind and moral and da-da-da. They know what women are like because they've slept with enough women to know what women are like. And so they feel no way about treating women like shit because they know women treat men like shit as a matter of course. Women don't treat men as though men were human beings. And so chads and bad boys don't treat women as though women were human beings. They're mirror images of each other. These men that treat women like shit understand the game because the women know that they're going to treat men any way they need to get what they want because they don't see men as human beings of value. They see men in the same way a tapeworm sees a cow or a pig or a human being, as a host. That's what men are to women, hosts. And so to excuse them and say, no one told them the golden rule, like that's an excuse. That's what he does. He excuses amoral behavior and acts like, oh, there are some women that are not amoral. Bollocks. Absolute bollocks. They're all amoral, but as I said earlier, some are smart enough and emotionally regulated enough to keep that on the down low and appear to be following the golden rule in order to get a man to fall in love with her, marry her, commit to her, and then work his ass off for 50 years in order to keep her in the style she's accustomed to. That's what a good woman is. Moving on.
Empathy for men is not something that we expect from women, and it's not something she's going to voluntarily sign up to. Why would she? This system works for her. She has no incentive to change.
The next time that you're on a date with a man, I want you to ask him, what are his love languages? Not in terms of receiving love, but in terms of giving love. Because if acts of service is not his main way of showing love, there is no way that he is in his masculine energy. You need a man who's going to take care of you and is going to be of service to you.
This attitude is not quirky. It's not cute. Let us call this what it truly is: culturally sanctioned abuse. Look at the chart. Yes, some women are toxic monsters, narcissists, sociopaths, the obvious threats. But what can be more dangerous than the woman who screams in your face is the woman who smiles. She's toxic in a way that's hard to spot. Those women don't need personality disorders. They've got the culture on their side. These are the parasites, and their weapon is social acceptability. It is messed up. Morality is not a democracy. I don't care how many women think that this is love. Doesn't matter. If she gives nothing and respects everything, that is not relationship. It is servitude.
Reason number 86 why I love men. When you're shopping online and they ask you, oh, what are you looking for? What are you trying to buy? You must be new here. What am I trying to buy? Everything. I'm trying to buy everything. Don't ask me that question. I'm just browsing. I don't have a goal. It's just the feeling of filling up my cart even if I purchase it or not. I probably will purchase it though. Slide me that card. Where's your wallet? Leave me alone.
Society calls it cute. I call it financial abuse. And the fact that women cheer her on and think that it's normal, to me, that's just culture-wide gaslighting. The problem is that our culture has normalized sexism against men to such a degree that we often don't even notice it. Men are seen as violent and disposable, women as sacred and deserving. Of course only men are sent to die in wars. And of course women should get custody of children. Yes, women can perpetually criticize and shame men and masculinity. And of course men should be silent and have no opinions about femininity or how women should behave. You have an opinion about your partner's sexual past? How she dresses? Whether she should get an abortion? Too bad. You're a man. Shut up. Keep paying the bills. And what's dangerous is that these beliefs are everywhere, held by regular, everyday women. They don't know how sexist they are because these beliefs are so common that they are rarely questioned. Many women are parasites and they don't even know it. Let's split women into 3 categories. The rarest women are the high quality ones, the ones who are sweet, kind, and feminine. They love and respect men and they reject feminism with its hateful anti-male ideology. They believe in real equality, not sameness, but complementary strengths and shared responsibility. If you meet one of these women, lock her down. They are very rare and many guys have resorted to moving overseas to try and find women from different cultures, and it's difficult to blame them.
Now, if you've seen my other Alexander Grace videos, you'll know that I flip back and forward between Alexander Grace's controlled opposition and he is knowingly feeding men into the gynocentric meat grinder, and Alexander Grace is pussy blinded by the fact that he's with a woman who he's her first choice and thus is experiencing that rare thing where a woman genuinely sees a man as the best she can get and therefore is able to be a decent girlfriend and wife and partner. I'm never quite sure what it is, but when he said that, that's the nail in the coffin as far as I'm concerned.
Now, on the other extreme, you have toxic women, like genuinely hateful individuals, and they use feminism as a convenient ideology to justify their hatred of men. It's a kind of smokescreen and, for many, a self-deception, so they don't have to confront how sexist they actually are. My advice for these women is do not date them, do not argue with them, do not try and fix them. Avoid them completely. These women are not your problem. Leave that to the professional therapists.
You are lucky to be in my presence.
These women are probably beyond saving. We just need to minimize the damage that they can do. Which brings us to the largest section. This is where most women fall. They're not monsters. They feel things. They care, at least a little bit. But they've been poisoned by the culture. Now, it's your choice. You don't have to engage with this type of woman. I do. But that's because for me, this channel is not a hobby. It's a mission I have. Like, I genuinely care about this stuff. I want women to look into the mirror and see what feminism has turned them into. I want them to unlearn their superiority complex and start treating men with dignity. I wish that there were enough high-quality women to go around, but there aren't, and sadly, for most men, they're probably going to need to date from this middle group. She doesn't know that her beliefs are abusive. She thinks they're cute, just harmless feminist empowerment. You need to be aware of what you are signing up for if you decide to date a woman like this. You need to be prepared to spend a certain amount of time deprogramming her. You need to have conversations like this, like, why is it romantic when a woman wants a man to die for her, but it's sexist if a man wants a woman to cook for him? Why is it empowering for a woman to say, I only date men over 6 foot tall, but it's shallow for a man to say, I only date women under 60 kilograms? Why is it that a woman can say, I want a man who will tolerate my emotional outbursts, but it's not okay for a man to say, I want a woman who tolerates my anger? I could go on, but if you've subscribed to my channel, you know the hypocrisy. Walk her through it step by step. And don't be surprised if this is the first time she has ever heard these ideas before. The culture has failed her, it's poisoned her, and you may have to be the medicine. You don't need to try forever. It will become quite clear whether or not she's a lost cause. But if she's a normal woman who's just swallowed the cultural myths, but she genuinely does have the capacity to be high quality, then pretty soon she'll recognize the logic and she'll begin to wake up. She'll understand, yeah, men are human and women aren't flawless.
Now, like any good homicide detective, me as Lieutenant Columbo, when I'm considering a murder suspect, I'm thinking about who had the means, motive, and opportunity. Alexander Grace definitely has the means because he's brilliant, smart, understands evolutionary psychology and biology and red pill female nature. He's definitely got the opportunity because he's got a massive YouTube platform. But what's the motive? What's the motive for this crime against mankind? And unfortunately, it's the oldest motive in the book. And he's just pointed to it there, recommending that when men find a unicorn, remember there are no such things. All women are like that. All women operate on female nature. And female nature is inherently solipsistic when it's healthy and parasitic when it's unhealthy. And in the context of 60 years of feminism and female supremacy, it's unhealthy. So today all women are parasites. And what he calls the good women that you should lock down are just women that are able to hide it better. And so that is feeding men into the meat grinder. That is terrible advice. Why would he give that advice when everything in his video points to what I'm saying, that all women are like that women are amoral, they treat men in a way they don't want to be treated, and it is not extreme monster women, it's normal women. It's normal women. And that includes what he calls the good ones. The good ones are just more normal appearing than the rest. Why would he do that? Here's why.
But very quickly, let's talk about nice women who won't ruin your life. Regrettably rare these days, but if you do meet someone who is kind, who's feminine, who wants a family and respects masculinity, there's always the danger that your mind panics, thinking, damn, I've waited for years to meet a woman like this. So how do you make sure that you don't screw it up? You need a game plan. You need to know what to say to make her attracted to you so you don't screw it up. This is where the sponsor of today's video, Marnie, your personal wing girl, comes in. Marnie is a fellow YouTuber. She has over 1 million subscribers, and her science-backed flirting method, the F formula, has helped tens of thousands of guys make the most of their opportunities with women. Your mind might be telling you, this girl is out of my league. But more than likely, that's just a rationalization that your mind is telling you because you don't have a plan. You don't know what to say. You're a great guy, but you don't know how to market yourself to women to show her that. But this can be learned. The techniques that Marnie teaches are simple and effective, and over 100,000 men have already experienced life-changing results. Even if you're not a millionaire or a male model, you can still be a potent force in the dating market. And because the Wing Girl Method is sponsoring today's videos, they're offering my audience an unbeatable deal. Just click the first link in the description box right now and you'll get an exclusive preview of the F formula for free. Plus, if you decide to pick up the full program, you'll get an extra 20% off. If you're ready to upskill your flirting, click the link below and get started today.
Now, I don't know where to start with this Marnie, your personal wing girl. First of all, any man understands that you don't ask fish how to catch fish. You should never take dating advice from a woman, period. But this particular manosphere parasite, feeding off men's pain and loneliness, I particularly, I have a particular revulsion towards. I remember watching her video, one of her videos ages ago, and just not liking her. I've just got such a good radar for grifters and people who are just not genuine. People who are horrible people, but good salesmen, let's say. And she's one of them. Straight off the bat, I knew. I tell her, it's poacher turned gamekeeper. I was a salesman. I was in advertising for nearly 15 years. And I was a liar and a cunt. I was. And I had a spiritual transformation when I was 35. And I let go of that part of myself, even though it's always going to be there. I just don't allow it to overtake me, and I don't allow myself to see through its eyes or treat people from that place. But what it does do is it allows me to know when I'm dealing with someone who has the same thing inside them, and she does. So I didn't like her. I can't stand women that pretend to want to help men when all they really want is to make money and grift off of them. I can't stand that. And so I never liked her. And I keep seeing ads. She does ads on YouTube, and I keep seeing her ads come up. And now I see Alexander Grace shilling for her, and it all makes sense. What I should say is that, I don't know how long ago it was, maybe about a year ago, I saw somebody did a video about her, and she was interviewed, and she's married, and she talked about her marriage and her husband. And she basically said, I am the boss in my house. She basically admitted to cucking her husband. So Alexander Grace is shilling, literally taking the shilling of a woman who runs a, what do they call it? Men's game coaching, what do they call it? Helping men with dating. So she runs a company that supposedly helps men get women, basically. She's married, she's cucked her husband, so she's got a weak simp beta husband, which she obviously married at the time for his resources, but now she's become successful, she's got her own money, so you absolutely know she's fucking Chad, alpha fucks, beta bucks. She's hypergamously sleeping with guys while cucking her simp beta husband, who she admits to being the boss of. And Alexander Grace has made this video sponsored by her. Do you see how, for me as Columbo, oh my God, she's a grifter, and he's shilling for a grifter. He is feeding men into the gynocentric meat grinder of, when you meet one of these rare unicorn women, lock her down, date her. And he goes on to talk about, I'm not even going to do it because this video is going to get too long, but he talks about the middle one, you know, the woman that you should educate. So, you know, the good unicorn, kind, loving woman, parasite, you should lock down and date and marry, lock down, date and marry. The monster, obviously, you should avoid. But the middle one, the normal woman who's a parasite without knowing it, who's been made that way by society, which is only half true. She's made that way by female nature, and then society just made it worse. You're supposed to educate them. And he goes into, maybe I will include it. Fuck it, I'll include it. I don't care how long this video is. You have to see the nonsense he's spouting here.
And equality doesn't mean sameness, it means mutual responsibility. This can be done. You can be successful in this deprogramming effort because remember, you have facts and truth and fairness on your side. Light is not scared of darkness. Darkness is scared of light. Have these conversations and have them early on into the dating process. But I would strongly recommend do not commit to a woman until after you've had these conversations and they've gone well. Date her, take her out to dinner, go for walks in the park, have some conversations by all means, but only once you are confident that she has shed the beliefs that justify the exploitation of men should you actually commit to her. But how do you identify whether or not a woman has the potential to become high quality? How do you make sure that you're not wasting your time and investing in somebody who's a lost cause? Well, there is one single question that you can ask that will cut straight to it. It's a good one, and I want to spend the rest of the video talking about it. If you want to keep watching this video, it continues over on Patreon. This is where I move from the theory into how to actually implement this in a practical way. What I post here on YouTube, these are just the short and abridged versions of my videos. If you want a lot more depth, a lot more nuance, you really want to sink your teeth into it, then come on over to Patreon. And as a reminder, if you're ready to upgrade your flirting game, check out the Wing Girl. Link in the description box below.
So I wanted you to feel the same level of revulsion that I feel at discovering the true motive behind Alexander Grace's excellent breakdowns of female nature, but which are always sidetracked into pointing men in the direction of the gynocentric meat grinder of having long-term relationships with women who are incapable of having healthy ones. And the motive, I never actually said it before, is money. It's so blatant, and I don't know where to start with this. So it's so wrong, but I'll just start at the end. So obviously the last thing he said was to remind you to sign up to the woman who cucked her husband, the wing girl. And then before that, he's got this, it's actually really clever, and I can't knock him for it because everyone's trying to make a living, but he does his videos half on YouTube and then the rest on Patreon. So the whole video is basically a sales pitch for you to sign up to his Patreon. And if you like the video and you want to know the question you have to ask to be able to find out if a woman is worth your time or a lost cause, you have to sign up to his Patreon. It's brilliant. It's a great grift because he does actually give value, even though he doesn't. I don't know where to start because I have to break this all down in a way that is easy to understand. But I just want you to recognize that the whole thing is to get Patreon subscriptions and to get you to sign up with his sponsor, yeah? So the motive for the crime of laying out for men the true nature of women, parasitic, but not saying to men, go your own way. Instead, saying to men, try to deprogram the majority woman in the middle, because it's not her fault that she's a parasite. It's not her fault that she doesn't know right from wrong. It's not her fault that she breaks the golden rule. It's not her fault that she's sociopathically lacking in empathy of men. It's not her fault. Society did it to her. You need to take the time to deprogram her and get her to the level where she says to herself, oh yeah, men are human and women do have flaws. That's what he's just told you to do. He is telling men to do something that is absolutely impossible, and even if it were possible, it's not your fucking job to be your date's therapist. He's literally telling you to fix women who were spoilt as children, believed feminist ideology, because not all women did, by the way. Some women grew up in the same world, but they didn't believe in female supremacy. They didn't believe that a man should give everything and a woman should give nothing. So he's telling you to date women like that, not commit to them yet. First, you have to go through a few months of being their therapist. So he's telling you to deprogram them, to challenge them, to get them to wake up to how broken they are by being ideologically possessed by female supremacy. And it's just absolutely insane. Number one, your boyfriend can't be your therapist. Number one, forget it. I'm a 58-year-old man. I'm a granddad. I've been married. I've slept with over 100 women. I've tried it many times. Your boyfriend cannot be your therapist. You cannot save or fix a woman you are fucking. Okay? It cannot happen. It never works. And for him, a professional, whatever he is, counselor, therapist, to suggest to men on YouTube that you should try to fucking fix these broken women is absolutely absurd. It's ridiculous. It's one of the craziest things I've ever heard. And if I didn't know that he was shilling, it's all for money, I wouldn't believe I heard it. It's like, you would go to those lengths to make money. That is disgusting. So please, my brothers, I hope you've watched this to the end. I know it's a long one, but you must never listen to advice like that. What was the other thing I was going to say? Oh yeah, he tried to break it down like, there were these main normal women in the middle. Oh yeah, that's right. I deal with it. You don't have to deal with these women, but I do, because I see it as my job to try and fix them, get them to look in the mirror. That's all nonsense. You can't fix anyone, period. And the only people can change. Absolutely. I'm a person who's changed, and I work with men. I help men to give up porn and mentor people into self-mastery. So I absolutely know people can change. But I also know, and because I've done it myself and helped other people to do it, I know that the most important criteria in a person changing is that they have to want to change like a drowning man wants air. That's the only thing that matters. Do you want to change who you are, the way you are, your behavior, your addiction, your patterns, whatever it is? Do you want to change it as if your life depended on it? Do you want it as much as a drowning man wants air? Because if somebody doesn't, they ain't changing. They ain't changing. Trust me. And he is telling men, lonely men that have been shat on, by women and society, to spend their precious time and energy trying to fix these entitled, egoic, narcissistic, selfish, self-absorbed, arrogant, masculine, modern women, trying to fix them to get them to the stage of basic humanity. That's where I want to leave it. He admitted that the reward for you going through this impossible process of fixing a woman from their feminist programming and their parasitic nature, which is obviously never going to happen, but the reward for doing all that, the juice that you get for all that squeeze, oh, men are humans and women do have flaws. That's the best case scenario. He is suggesting that you put in all that time and effort into something that's impossible for trained therapists to do, but you as a layman should do it for your potential girlfriend, someone that you're dating, for the reward of, oh, I'm a decent human being that is capable of treating men like I like to be treated. That's the reward. And he says that's a good idea. Jesus Christ, give me strength. It infuriates me that he has got hundreds of thousands of listeners and he's making hundreds of thousands of pounds, literally feeding men into the meat grinder of the gynocracy, ruining men's lives. That's going to ruin your life. If you do what he says, it's going to ruin your fucking life. And he is seen as a hero by lots of men. It makes me sick to my stomach. I actually like his videos. I think he's clever, but now I can't stand him now. Now I've seen that end, that little bit at the end where he, let you know that, oh, how do you, because I used to be a salesman, so I know how it works. So how do you know if a woman is capable of you deprogramming her or if she's a lost cause? Well, there's one question. Oh, only one question, Alexander. I can handle one question. Yes, there's one question you can ask that will tell you the thing you most desperately want to know deep in your mother wound. And all you have to do to get the answer to that, or to find out what that one question is sign up to my Patreon. You motherfucker. You absolute motherfucker. I actually hate your guts now. I don't hate anyone's guts. I'm not like that. I don't do hate. But Alexander, you are a slimy snake. And you are no friend to men. You are no champion of men. And I have made it the mission of my life to expose you. I'm going to be doing more videos on Alexander Grace. I'm going to come up with a nickname for him because I now want to destroy him. I don't hate him, but I want to stop as many men as possible following his advice because it will only fuck your life up. Needed to get that off my chest. If you support this work, I don't ask for your money, but please like, comment, share, do whatever you can to help this video reach more men, and you'll be doing me a massive favor. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.
Stop complaining about the results you didn't get from the work you didn't put in. The only way to become more successful than most people is to be willing to do something most people aren't willing to do.
God, we should walk away from this.
Hold on. If I were to do this, if I even could do it, I'd need a guarantee. How do I know you can deliver?
You don't. But I can. So, do you want to take a leap of faith? Or become an old man filled with regret, waiting to die alone?